PDP next meeting ends. His party yet to make a decisive action on the national secretary position, but also made a decision on the zoning arrangement. And President Bola Tinubu is seeking approval from the National Assembly to make more external borrowings. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale right here in Abuja. So let's get started. Happy Children's Day to everyone. Well, at some point you were born as a child, so it suffices to say that I'm someone's child. You probably are someone's child, but we're specifically looking at the children in this time. And what a wonderful future they could have just if those who are in political office and those who are in leadership get their acts together and plan with the mindset that the lives and the livelihood of our children, even the ones that are yet unborn, is on the line. And they are the future, literally the future of this country. And if we do well and do good by them, this country will be greater even when we are no longer here. So we've seen a lot of celebration in the National Assembly. Children are made to preside plenary in the House and in the Senate. But let's tell you part of what happened today in the National Assembly. And they have received a formal request for President Bola Tinubu seeking approval for a $21.5 billion external loan and a $758 billion domestic bond to settle outstanding pension liabilities. The president is seeking this approval under the plan to borrow $21.5 billion US, 22.2 billion euros, 15 billion Japanese yen, and 65 billion euros grant. The president's letter was read on the floor of the House by the Speaker of the House, and that the loans will address infrastructure deficit and improve employment, among other things. Also, to settle outstanding pensions liabilities, the president is requesting approval to borrow from the domestic market the sum of 757.98 billion naira.
This request to the NAS to approve the issuance of FGN bonds by the DMO to settle pension liabilities in the sum borrowing of 753,983,246,571 naira is pursuant to the provisions of Section 44, subsection 1 and 2 of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007, which requires the approval of the National Assembly for all new borrowings by the federal government of Nigeria. Further to the provisions of the FRA 2007, the House of Representatives may find below the purpose and cost-benefit analysis of the proposed borrowing. Purpose. Since the borrowing is for the settlement of federal government of Nigeria pension obligations to retirees, it is an essential investment in human capital development, which is allowed under the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007.
So much to talk about. I will go back to the National Assembly. There is a senator who was wearing a Tinubu 2027 attire, and we're going to be getting a reason why he did that. But that's going to be after the political roundup stories.
President Bola Tinubu has condemned child bullying and is promising to create a better and more secure environment for children in the country. This is captured in his message on the 2025 Children's Day celebration in a statement he issued today. President Tinubu said this year's Children's Day theme, Stand Up, Speak Up, Building a Bullying-Free Generation, is a fitting reminder of the need to build a culture where every child is respected and heard. Meanwhile, the president has arrived in Lagos, where he will be celebrating, along with other leaders, the 50th anniversary of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The Lagos event is expected to include reenacting the 1975 declaration at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Victoria Island. After the ECOWAS events, the president will commission some projects of the administration and will observe the Eid al-Kabir prayers at the State House, Dodan Barracks, before returning to Abuja. The administrator of Rivers State, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, has expressed strong optimism that the ongoing political crisis in the state is not beyond resolution. Speaking during the event marking the 58th anniversary of the creation of Rivers State at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the administrator described the crisis as a political disagreement, not a war. He urged citizens to reflect on the actions and inactions that led to the current impasse, while defending the president's declaration of a state of emergency.
Let the 58th anniversary be the moment we rededicate ourselves to building a river state where every child, from Opobo to Bori, from Omoku to Boni, can aspire, achieve, and belong.
The Women in Politics Forum is renewing its urgent call for the passage of the Special Seats Bill, a critical measure to tackle the persistent underrepresentation of women in legislative bodies across the country. Speaking at a media roundtable in Abuja, the president of the group, Mrs. Ebere Fendo, described the bill as a necessary step towards achieving true gender balance and fostering inclusive governance.
Today, we stand at a milestone in our shared commitment to achieving gender equality and revitalizing our democracy. A journey propelled by an unwavering belief that the full participation of women in governance is an essential pillar of a thriving democracy.
There you have it. You've been served, and you're now up to speed with your political roundup stories across the country. Now, let's take you to the National Assembly. It was to some awkward, to others very strange, when Senator Oji Uzo Kalu, representing Abia North Senatorial District, walked into the National Assembly donning the attire printed in President Bola Tinubu's names. And now he's been defending the endorsement for President Bola Tinubu for re-election in 2027. From a lot of the concerns that have been raised, and with all of the issues with opposition alliances and the coalition talks. The senator was speaking to Senate correspondents before plenary, and the senator says the wave of support for the president is a direct result of his performance and policy direction, not political anxiety. This is the former Abia State Governor, Oji Uzo Kalu.
Down the line, people are still suffering. Yes, I agree that. But it started trickling in on the macro level. That's on the upper level, not on the lower level. So I'm hoping that in the next 2-3 years, the policies of Mr. President will trickle down and Nigerians will appreciate what Mr. President is doing. Since 1960, I'm not a sycophant. This is first president. You know, I have tank farms. This is first president that stopped subsidy. This is first president they matched the $2. That is why we are suffering. Because Nigerians are not used to working hard. We are used to getting cheap money. People sleep in their houses and use telephone and get dollar and sell it at very high rate. People sit in their houses and use their tank farms and collect paper and they make money. But this is one president who have said, if you are ready to make money, make it the right way. If you are not ready to make money, you leave it. So I don't think, moreover, they have to vote for him because, you see, President Tinubu is not going to be a president voted by the South alone. He will be a president that will be voted by North and South. And it's also for the interest of everybody.
All right, there you have it. Senator Oji Uzo Kalu. Over there. We get reactions to his views on the endorsement and the performance of this government. But let's tell you that the PDP, the People's Democratic Party's NEC meeting has ended. After the meeting, there are briefings, of course, as to the deliberations of today, the meeting held at first it was a caucus meeting which held at the Bauchi Governor's Lodge in Abuja, and then came after the meeting when, of course, the meeting was adjourned following the failure to exhaust all of the items on its agenda, including issues around the National Assembly Committee meeting. After this, the party also held the NEC meeting, which was started around past noon earlier today. It was later moved to 2 p.m. at the party secretariat annex at the Legacy House. After that meeting, the party could not decisively resolve the issue relating to Mr. Ude Okoye and Sam Anyanwu as to who should occupy the national secretary position in the party. But the party today was able to ratify the zoning arrangement on the issue on that is the committee that will sit on the zoning arrangement was ratified by the party. Sometimes in June, some of the decision will be ratified. But then let me allow you to listen to the national chairman of the party and the chair of the PDP Governors Forum.
NEC also received and ratified the composition of the committee on the zoning of national offices ahead of the national convention. The members of these zoning committees are Governor Tuediri, Chairman, Governor Dauda Lawan, Vice Chairman, and Caleb Mufwal, Secretary. That's the zoning committee. The members of the National Convention Committee are Governor Ahmadu Umaru Pintri, Chairman, Governor Ademola Adeleke, Vice Chairman, and Governor Peter Mba, Secretary. Next also received the resolution of the Southeast Zonal Executive with regard to the issue of the National Secretary and to be considered and deliberate upon in the next NEC, which is slated for 30th City. NEC reassures Nigerians that the PDP remains strong, resilient, united, and determined now, more than ever before, in leading the charge to rescue our nation from the vicious grip of APC administration.
Boo-boo traps. There are so many innuendos, political movements that have been done. Today we are being bombarded by the issue of coalition, defection, a gale of defection that is even affecting some of our members. Our members are standing strong and resolute. There is no intimidation that we are not going through. There is no caressing or cajoling that members, as your elected governors, are not going through. If you ask any one of them. But certainly, we are resolute. We will not abandon the mandate. And that is why you can see us here together. Yes, we wish well for those who have left. But we believe this is not the first time people left PDP and came back. I'm sure they will come back.
Well, and that was how it all went today at the meeting, the NEC meeting, which held at the Legacy House today in Abuja with the leaders of the party and members of NEC. One of those who sat at that meeting is a member of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, one person that is so passionate about the PDP, and we do not know yet whether he's going to join his brother in the APC, though he's opposed him for several years, but they are from himself and the president are from the same state, and maybe he's going to, like other members of the PDP, join the president in the APC. He's going to tell us all of that and more of what they resolved at the NEC meeting today. Chief Olabode George is live for us here in our studio. It's good to see you, Chief George.
Sure, always my pleasure. You see, I've almost lost my voice.
Wow. It's been hectic, isn't it?
Yeah, for 24 hours we've been on the track. ensuring that there's a rebirth of freedom. There's a rebirth of the thought processes, the procedural sets as laid down by the founding fathers. I remember, I don't know whether it was on your station or the other station, when I said the 27th of May is very critical. Mm-hmm. And I can reassure you and reassure the Nigerian public that the party is being reawoken, and we've learned some of the mistakes in the past, and we are determined that never again are we going to go through the self-manipulation of the doctrines and the procedures of our party. It's a big lesson for us. We haven't even had a NEC meeting for a very long time. Mm. And people thought we wouldn't have a NEC meeting.
This is the 99th NEC meeting.
Right, 99th NEC meeting. So
and this is very significant. The next one in June will be the 100th.
And to be a centurion is not cheap. It means you have a pool of ideas. Mm. But the interesting part of it is that there is no organization anywhere in the world, even in the developed world, that will never have crisis. Mm. But your ability to be able to rise above the crisis will be a measure of your competence by those people who are outside and watching you.
Yeah, Chief George, and I hope your 100th NEC meeting in June will not be the service of songs to the final burial rites of the PDP.
Absolutely not.
Let me give
you today's meeting has reassured us and reassured Nigerians that, yesterday we started the usual NEC meeting. It's always 3 in 1. You start with the caucus, you start with the same time, you have the BOT, and then after the BOT, then you have the NEC meeting. And as people arrived, before we moved to the party secretariat, the FCT people locked it up.
Because you people were owing.
They said we were
defaulters.
We were defaulters, yes. Who is not defaulting? Yeah, some people made... You see, what I have learned, the difference between a civilian organization, like a political organization, is that the turnaround is pretty high. You serve maximum 8 years, and you are gone. So the records, the keeping of those things, so many things have come out now that people were shocked. We were told we haven't paid 7 million naira. Mm. And so we defaulted in the ground rent or whatever rent. Whatever.
Tenancy and ground rent.
The painful part of it is that the minister is also from our party, the FCT, 7 million. Now, they waited until the day we are to hold our NEC meeting to shut down Now, as an African, I look at it as if you are back in your village, your community, and you suddenly become the local government chairman. And the first action to take was to look at your father's house, that they haven't paid their ground rents, and then you went and you locked it up.
Mm. But it wasn't only your office. Sorry,
no.
From since March this year, there have been warnings. Your party has been listed, and they have been warning that go and pay your debt. But your party has not moved to do that.
See, no matter
could your party be an exception? That is unlawful for you to
do. If it
default.
Had been a man, my son, political son, I call him my political son, and he's still my political son.
You mean the
FCT minister? He was on his first political outing. elected on the platform of this party as a local government chairman in Rivers. Later, he became chief of staff to an elected governor of this party. Then, President Jonathan appointed him as a Minister of State of Education on our party. Then became a governor for 8 years on the platform of this party. Talking as an African, I said, culturally, that's why I said, look, let's look at it as if it's his father's house, who trained him, where he grew up, where he went to school, and became a public personality. Now, what do you do to pay back that family? What is 7 million?
You think Minister Wike should have paid on behalf of the PDP?
No, I'm saying at the very worst. Because look at all the appointments he has held with the party.
He has benefited from the PDP.
Massively.
So he should have come through for the PDP.
He should have just said to them, okay, 7 million I pay from my pocket, take the receipt back to the party secretariat and say, you see how you people are foolish. I am completely committed to this house. I am completely loyal to this house. I will not decimate it. This is the receipt. Give me back my money. That is what you call a true son of that family. I was shell-shocked. And I can tell you, publicly now, whatever building that the APC is holding in Abuja, if you go to that house, you will find out that they are owing millions and millions. So why select? Okay, you now went to
FRS, NAPTIP, Access Bank offices.
The gracious part of it, because the president is smart enough to realize that this could be a political suicide in future. Like I said, let's assuage it to make you going back to your village. You become the local government chairman, and you are now talking about the lack of payment by your family to the local government council. Would you do that?
So you are disappointed?
Very.
If you saw Mr. Wike today, what would you be telling him?
I would have told him what. Yes, we learn every human being make mistakes. Every human being. The only being that doesn't make mistakes is the Almighty God and His Son, Jesus Christ. And I want to remind you what General Powell, the first black man to head the Joint Chief of Staff in America. You know what he said about mistakes? He said, look, a mistake remains a mistake if you don't learn from it. I will tell you that you made a flip. You should have paid it to confirm to them that you are a genuine son of the family, you are committed, you are loyal, you are appreciative.
So you see this as disloyalty?
Absolutely.
You see it as betrayal of your party?
Absolutely.
But you don't see your party as a bit irresponsible and not rising up to the bidding in paying what is due to government. Because your party has committed an unlawful act, breach your agreement with the state because it is enshrined in the law. Your party has defaulted.
Look, like I said, they made a mistake. They made a mistake.
The party?
Yeah.
Is that a mistake?
It is a mistake.
But there's been a warning since March. We knew that the FCT was going to shut down and seal buildings in Abuja since the weekend. Couldn't that your party run to make amends since March?
When you are running a political organization, it's not like yours here. You have the good, the bad, the ugly, and all sorts of characters are there. And people are bound to make mistakes. Now, they have found out, you'll be shocked, that I haven't paid even for that building. We bought it from somebody way back to tidy up the various documents. They just started refixing.
Can Nigerian trust a party that is owing 7 million ground rent? And you say you want to
say
Nigeria.
The other political, is there any other political party like PDP in this country? You want me to explain to you?
In terms of the loss at elections?
In terms of, not loss at
You've
elections.
lost back to back. Chief Judge, 2015, 2019, 2023.
We are yet in this nation, and I can say it openly, that what we have as an electoral process is a complete charade. That is no process. I am a computer engineer by profession. You don't tell me that on the D-Day, when your computer should be working seamlessly, you talk about a glitch. And you know, the company that manufactured the computer said, no, there was no glitch. We were looking at, we were watching you online. You switched off the system. Let me tell you this. As a naval officer, I'm a weapons systems engineer. You are on board your ship. You are at war. Another ship fired a missile towards your ship. Your computer, your radar will pick it up. The computer, in microseconds, will calculate the speed at which it's coming and the time it could land on your vessel to attack you. In microseconds, the result will be ready and assign a weapon to counter. Now tell me, the kind of system they are talking about, a computer that has only one channel and has a glitch at that point.
So you don't trust INEC?
Look, it is the procedure. They are yet the same system.
So you imagine that was a human manipulation? No,
they stated it, the company.
You don't think your brother, Bola Tinubu, won the election free and square?
Of course not. The results was announced in the middle of the night, and we said no.
What about all of the governors of the PDP who won there? Are those two rigged?
I said the whole system needs to be redefined.
So all of the PDP governors were rigged into office? Is that what you're
Look at what happened in Ghana. Look at what happened in Ghana recently. The same system we are using here, they use in Accra, in Ghana. And what happened? But by 3/4 of the electoral process, the president in government, his party lost, and he said, we agreed we lost because the system
considered.
Yeah,
but
considered
let me,
it is not.
It is not your party losing now.
It is
so
not
your party did not lose in 2015.
No.
The party did not lose in 2019.
The electoral process has to be improved. Now, what I tell you, look at the election in Edo State. Was that an election? What happened?
What about the one in Ondo?
The one in Ondo, the same. These
so you don't agree with any of the results in the past?
We are yet to respect the technology that President Buhari spent so much.
What happened in 2023, sir? As far as the elections is concerned?
I said the electoral process
where
is
Peter Obi won in Lagos?
Oh. Look, when they first brought it, they had a test run in Anambra. We were told that it was seamless. By the time they got to the D-Day, the real election time, the beavers could not take all the servers, because your results from the polling station were to be transferred automatically to the mainstream. You remember they announced that, now, this thing had a glitch, therefore you should reverse back to the old system. Reverse back to the manual system. So what do you get? Garbage in, garbage out.
Let me ask you.
It's distasteful.
Are you grateful to Bola Tinubu for reversing the ceiling of your office?
The ceiling of our office?
Yes.
Reversing it?
Because of your failure, inability to pay rent.
You say we should reverse back to it. Who started it all? What does it... Remember what the FIRS said, that they had made payment, they had written to them, nobody replied them, nobody came to them, and that they had locked down their office in error. So if these are the kind of... I'm saying, for a political colossus as the PDP owing 7 million naira, where this man can be, he himself, having been a major beneficiary of the laurels of that party, should have been in a position to say, okay, I'll pay it. Now, shame on you people. Why have you not done it? I have done it because I am a committed, I am a loyal member and dedicated member of this party. That's all you expect from a man who is bold enough, committed enough, not playing some kind of a dirty game. And the president himself knew this would be a political issue in the future. And he has said, look, within 14 days, everybody go and tidy it up. Like I said, we discussed today. We found out that since year 1998 or 1999, year 2000, we bought that building. The records of change of ownership, change of this, and because being a political party, the turnover of human beings, you can't be there perpetually. Who has been in the record keeping? And the board of trustees is the source, the conscience of the party. They also hold the liabilities and the assets of the party. Now, how many times have we have changes of the chairman, board of trustees? But we've learned a lesson now, because, hey, political development, human development is not a 100-meter dash race.
Chief George, let me ask you, and the reason why I asked that question earlier about if the June NEC meeting would not be a service of song to the final burial rights of the PDP. My guest yesterday, sitting right in the chair you were sitting, this is what he says, and I'm going to quote him. And there's a well-respected analyst who says, the PDP is a dying party. You see, the Bible says the wages of sin is death. So the PDP is dying because it committed a mortal sin in 2023, and I cannot say this enough. I don't see PDP surviving as a party beyond 2027 because, you see, when Atiku happened to the PDP, it developed a Nyesom Wike problem. And he went further to explain that the zoning of your party not yielding to a national consensus or arrangement, unwritten arrangement, that power should return to the South was the sin of your party. And except your party repent from it, your party is going to die evidently. And that's why I asked if that 100th NEC meeting was not going to be the service of some to the final burial rights.
We have already done the resurrection today. The
so
party
today is Easter for your party.
The party
rose
has
from the
been
dead.
From not the dead. An Iroko tree just doesn't die. This party is an Iroko tree. In any forest, you go to the Middle East, the oak tree just doesn't die like that because the taproot is so deep. And so there was a beleaguered attitude, of people who believe that self-centeredness, manipulation of the processes laid down by the founding fathers through certain process now blew up on our faces. And I'm telling you that we have learned a lesson. And that lesson was the beginning of the meeting yesterday and today. I can tell you what it reminded me of was the peak and the level of the peak of our existence as a political party. I left that chambers feeling reinvigorated. I left the chambers feeling, at my age, on the 8th floor of life, looking back, I can't vie for any more positions. But we want to make sure that we stop dancing on the graves of these old men, that the way they saw Nigeria was planted in the PDP.
So the PDP NEC meeting today
is
a consciousness, a realization of the failures
and things that we had
was
done.
Atiku Abubakar at that meeting?
No, he wasn't there. He doesn't have to be there, but the meeting went on. You see, this party is not a party for any individual. No individual can claim ownership of this party. It's a collective responsibility. And you see, gradually, people started manipulating. And I want to quote the chairman of the Board of Trustees, his statement. Quote his statement, just the speech he made. He said, we must perpetually build on selfless leaders. We must have more selfless leaders and less selfish leaders. That was resonating.
Adolfo Swabara.
Yeah, that was what he said today. And, doesn't that answer the way you are thinking? And I call that an imbecility by saying, oh, you are dead. That's their wish. There's no organization, like I said to you, that will not have crisis. You can disagree, but you must never be disagreeable.
All right,
and that is why I said that the meeting yesterday and today gave me an insight. They can call my flight anytime now, once we are over 70. Now I'm on the 8th floor. If they call my flight, you can call my flight anytime.
But you don't look like someone who is ready to go yet.
You never know what
your
time.
Your boarding pass still, I'm not sure you don't have it.
The boarding pass.
No, you are not going anywhere.
The boarding pass is already with you. You don't only know when they will call your flight. When you call your flight.
But George, stay with us. Stay with me on the program. And stay with us. Don't go just yet. You might be 80, but we still need you more around.
Yeah,
we'll go on a break. And when we return, I'll be asking Chief Bode George about the role of the PDP and what it will look like in the 2027 election. We're seeing a lot of talk about coalition. Well, the man who is already making moves about the coalition was not at the NEC meeting today. But what role will the PDP be playing in that coalition and the 2027 election? His brother, they say, Bola Tinubu, is coasting to winning a re-election. We'll get his views about that after this. Join us again. Chief Bode George, a member of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, is our guest tonight and is speaking with us on the outcome of the PDP's NEC meeting. If you can summarize for us, what were those things you agreed on and the things you were not able to agree on?
No, I agreed entirely with everything.
For example, I'm saying that the outcome, what did the party agree on today?
Okay.
What are the positions that the party agree on today? Because usually all of the agenda have been ratified by caucus. They just take it to NEC and present it and discuss them.
When you get to caucus, you have just select elders. People with experiences. I represent Southwest at that caucus. And so people like that. I have been in the party since 1998. I was one of those, the first elected to one of the party managers since 1999. And I spent 10 years there. So in terms of knowledge, in terms of those who are the quality of people who are members of caucus. So you expect that their input is not self-inflicted or self-consciousness to be able to control A or B. All you want to do is to make sure that the young men who are taking over from you will not drown the ship. Okay? So for our meeting, I said it was seamless. It reminded me of the good old days when the PDP was at the peak. It's been rejuvenated, rekindled, and we are preparing assiduously for the National Convention in August. Then the various committees, the zonal committees, you approved that there will be a zonal committee. And then, of course, the managers of the convention have already been approved. And so what you look at is like it's a midterm convention. Okay. Not really elective per se, but this will be to elect or...
but the tenure of this NWC ends in November, December.
That's what I'm saying, that it is a
mid-cap,
midterm, 4 years, midterm convention. The full-time convention will carry the party positions and the elective positions.
But Damagum and the rest will have to exit by November, December, isn't it? Are you extending that?
No. It depends on, once the zoning for now would mean it's not a matter of north and south for zoning, because it's a midterm. Zoning will mean the rotation. Like Damagum is from northeast, is the deputy chairman north. You have some others who are the youth leader, who is also from the north, the national organizing secretary, who is also from the north west.
So they swap.
If they want,
the
positions can be swapped within the zones in the north, same like we have in the south.
But Chief Judge, today you were not able to agree on, reach a consensus or decide on the Ude Okoye or Samaya.
Now, it's not that we didn't want to. There were still issues. Some committee is still meeting, finding out the facts, how we could resolve that. But quite candidly, we looked at it. What effect would that have on the day-to-day running of the party? Just one person versus the whole zone. The zone is now telling you, no, we had already met. We don't want this Okoye again. But the matter cannot stop at the zone. Okoye, as a member of the working committee, as a member of NEC, can only be removed by NEC. You understand? So it will take some time. People are still trying to see how we can resolve it in-house without going out.
So we'll convene the meeting today, the NEC meeting.
Once the chairman is seated.
Who convened it?
The chairman.
The chairman chaired it.
The chairman.
The convener is usually the national secretary.
It doesn't have to be him. All these.
That is the rules, sir.
That's what they call those rules. There have been times, emergency meetings that are needed. They said yes. The acting secretary, the deputy secretary of the party.
In the face of the law, does this 99th NEC, does it have any validity in the eye of the law?
Of course.
When there is no national secretary. So Samaya was not there, Ude Okoye was not there.
He said Ude Okoye was there.
But Samaya,
he wasn't
acting.
He came as a former youth leader. Okoye was there.
But Samaya,
but he wasn't
acting.
He came as a former youth leader. Now the deputy secretary, the deputy national secretary, is acting. In his absence, he takes over the responsibility of that.
Let me ask you, sir.
Because
you mentioned, sir, earlier that your party has learned his lessons.
Yes.
What are the lessons you learned today?
The lessons we learned, one, this issue of self-conceitedness, that you personalize this party. We are not APC.
What's the difference between both of you?
APC.
The both association are the same thing.
No. The APC is owned by one individual, and he told everybody.
Who is that?
That the president. He said, I own.
President Bola Tinubu.
I want to challenge you, challenge them through you. Have you heard in the last 2 years, or even before General Buhari left, that the APC had a national convention where national officers were elected? When was the last time they did that?
There was a convention where
Well,
this set of the NWC emerged.
Which one? Do you know how my brother Ganduje became chairman? He was handpicked by President Bola Tinubu. Where was he elected? Where was the national secretary elected? When was the last time you heard that the NWC met or they had planned a national convention?
That may not be right, Chief Judge, because we have reporters covering them.
I have said it to you. They had some meetings recently of leaders convention, leaders
summit.
Summit. That's what they had. They hadn't had any national convention.
But with what is going on, Chief Judge, let me ask you, and honestly speaking, there are those who say, oh, it seems you have an eternal opposition against Bola Tinubu, who is supposed to be your very good brother. You are from the same state. And there are those who even say maybe Bode George is going to go to the APC. Is that a possibility?
As long as I live. You know, I come from Macaulay. My great-grandmother was their sister. All right? He was the first Nigerian politician in this country. In 1922, he established the first political party. Papa served and spent all his years trying to unite the North and the South. It was in the course of that he caught pneumonia in 1946 and he died. The only politician around at that time was Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, whom he adopted as his son. Papa was never interested in whether you are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, whatever.
So you're going to be like Abba Macaulay, who stood in one political party, and you're going to be like your friend Bola Tinubu too, who has been in one political party.
No, he hasn't.
You have similarity. You and Bola Tinubu, isn't it?
How?
He's never crossed to any other political party.
They started with what?
No, but they started with the party morphed. AD, AC, ACN, and then APC. It morphed. But you
called it morphed.
He gravitated into something else.
He can gravitate.
It didn't exist. Those parties don't exist any longer.
Now, what has happened? You use the word morphed. I'm telling you, recently, since you are a journalist, recently he said it unequivocally that I own the party. Go to those people who are so angry, who are contesting, those aspirants. Did they go to any primaries for any candidate to emerge?
You seem to have
in Lagos.
You seem to be an eternal opposition against him.
No.
Do you have a personal grievance against him?
For what?
Will you be able to work with him coming from the same state for the interest of Nigeria?
Work with him in terms of what?
As an elder, as a leader in the country?
No, every time I look at certain policies and I approach looking in depth about that policy and I find some things that are not right, it is within my right because I will tell the truth to power. That's what I do.
So you can never join Bola Tinubu in the APC. You will die a PDP member.
What am I looking for? Like they say in Yoruba language, Uwa lomode, Uwa fakoyo, Uwa nigripa, Uwa dabira. What do Bonkongi, Unsheju Paku Paku Biakonka, Shake by La Rota Rubon. What am I looking for now? Except to make sure that this nation sits well. There is hunger in the land. There is anger in the land. The younger generation are very, very extremely unhappy.
Chief George, we need to anchor.
Right.
And where I would like us to anchor is on the front that there are coalition, people coalescing, people talking. And maybe just in less than 60 seconds, if you can help me. There are those who will say the way opposition is not organizing itself, Bola Tinubu is on the fast lane of getting a re-election, although he's in the second year of a 4-year term. But the way and manner opposition, and some of you are behaving in the opposition, you are giving a Bola Tinubu and the APC a smooth ride. What is your view? Just in 60 seconds so that we can close.
You know, when I see this charade going on in this country, I have told you earlier that there is a need to revisit the electoral process in this country. All right? If we don't, we are just beating about the bush. We take one step ahead and make 10 steps back. Has this country grown? Where is that giant of Africa? Where is that giant of Africa? Even the constitution we are using is heavily defective because it is like a military organization. You center power in one position.
Unitarily.
Is it working? Devolution of power to the states. Remove the control of local governments from the federation account.
Chief George, we need to go. We're totally out of time. So people who say Bola Tinubu will win in 2027.
No, it is the people. Those who are now talking are the Lajis. Let us allow Nigerians to exercise genuine, correct rights. You will ask them, the fellow who hasn't had a job for years, for 4 years, the younger generations who have just graduated, there is no hope, no future, nothing. And it is spreading. In the north today, it is spreading like a cancer.
Chief George.
So I will say, let the will of the people prevail.
All right. Thank you so much. Chief Olabode George, a very good friend of President Bola Tinubu. He's a very good brother. And he's been a political opposition for a very long time. But a member of the People's Democratic Board of Trustees. Thanks so much indeed for coming tonight. Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Okimale. God bless Nigeria.